Well, hello, welcome to Humans in 30ish. I'm Luke McCredden and Matt Peek is with me as always. Matt, how you going, pal?
Good Luke, or should I say McCredden? It's a great surname. It's kind of like a cop surname.
Is it?
It's like, yeah. It just every time I hear it, it's like one of those shows. Somebody call McCredden. Where the hell? Where the hell is McCredden?
All right.
Is it Irish? Is it
Yeah, yeah,
Irish or
yeah.
Scottish?
Irish, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there might have been, who knows, some authority there back in the day. This is Humans in 30ish for those playing along at home. Matt and I each bring two undisclosed topics to the table and we just break them down. We talk about them. We see where they go. And to date, Matt, there's been some very interesting ones, which you can, which you can catch up on if you are new to the podcast and find them all in the back catalogue. But it's been fun so far. I'm looking forward to getting into it again, Matt. And last episode,
This is it.
yeah, this is it. Last episode, I believe you kicked things off, so I think I'll take the reins again. I think I'll take charge.
Oh, do the honors.
And I'm going to lead in with a question to you, and then I'll elaborate a bit more on my point. So my leading question, I suppose, to you, Matt, is what do you think immediately when you hear the name Chappelle Corby?
I think a bodyboard or a boogie board. Uh, there was a rap song that mentioned her. I remember Mercedes Corby just freaking out, screaming at some Indonesians.
Okay, so that's, yeah. I'm just wondering, and this leads me to my point is, at what point do you think Channel 7 had the discussion around putting her on a television program with the, unofficial label of a celebrity guest?
Oh, what program? What's the development?
So there's a new series coming up called SAS Australia. It's a reality show with, a host of, B-list Australian celebrities. But they've crowbarred her in there, and I'm not sure how I feel about it because it's almost giving her some sort of credibility.
Look, I'd like to hear more from you, but she has served her time, and maybe the producers were thinking, hey, I mean, how long was she locked up for? 7 years?
9 years.
Yeah, 9 years in a crummy, unhygienic, warm, whatever infested prison. The SAS, it could be, she could be a surprise packet.
Yeah. I think though, my issue sort of is that I don't mind the idea of potentially doing a series like this or a show like this with a cast of, maybe people with a bit of a dusty background. And that's where she could fit in and they could sort of, push these people to their limits. But, she's in the mix with a bunch of, there's some comedians and some athletes and some, and I just feel like it's kind of sending a funny message. And maybe it's the father of young kids coming out in me, but I'm just not sure that my take is that the network is sort of, look, they probably see some something in it in terms of getting some numbers on the board, and that, I guess I understand that, but at the same time, I don't love it. I don't like the look of it.
Who are the other celebrities that are doing this SAS boot camp?
There's I think Mitch Johnson. I think Merrick Watts might be in there as well. Don't have the list in front of me, but there's some people there from other TV shows, reality shows, and whatnot. Funnily enough, though, there is a which I just only discovered today. A girl in there who was a swimmer who was actually her career was cut short because she actually tested positive to a banned substance. So there's she's another one that's in there that's almost. Yeah,
is that the one from late last year?
I think so. Yeah. So again, I just kind of don't know where they're going with it. Where they're just pulling high profile people. Yeah,
it's a real hodgepodge of names. I would love to see the SAS people just break them though. That would be fun to watch. I think these TV producers just a lot of the time are just having a laugh, aren't they? They'll put these people in the most compromising positions without really caring about how they look. But
yeah,
I see where you're coming from. my point of view would be, I do think people will watch it, and I
I've got
think
no doubt.
Chappelle probably is the draw card in a way. I mean,
Maybe.
I'm interested. You've piqued my interest.
Have I?
Well,
Okay.
a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
as I said, she did her time, and if
Yeah.
she's getting a knock on the door, then fair enough. I mean,
I just don't.
look,
I don't like the celebrity label, and I know these people aren't full blown they're B, C listers, whatever you might call them. I don't know how they get ranked, but there's certainly no.
What would be good, Luke, is if they were actually deployed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's just I don't know. I don't know about the label getting mixed up with a celebrity, getting kids or young teens the idea that, hey, you know what? I could still be a TV star even if I screw things up or whatever. I don't know. It's just a mixed sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, what is on free-to-air network these days, it doesn't surprise me. The quality that's coming out on channels on the streaming platforms is just so fantastic, isn't it? That the free-to-air, other than live sport and maybe things like Have You Been Paying Attention, I don't really pay much attention to anything else other than that. But there's a lot of trash. But
yeah, they're desperate. They seem desperate. They're desperate. Oh, good on her. Look, I mean, for as far as she is concerned, I think it's an opportunity for her. Why not? She's making a fair bit of cash, and I've got absolutely no idea of what they make, but I got a fair eye-opener when I chatted to Merv Hughes a few months back on this podcast and off-air as well. I think he mentioned it on air, but also off-air we were talking a bit about some of the offerings for these reality shows from these personalities. And, he was, it's big numbers. It's big dollars. So that's the other avenue. Like, why is she getting paid a few $100,000 or whatever it may be as an ex?
We might see another side to her.
I'm open to that. I'm open to that.
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
Has she ever admitted that she did it though?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't remember
I can't remember
transcript of all that, but I don't think there was too much doubt, was there, from memory? Anyway.
Nah, it was a pretty cut and dry case, wasn't it? There's marijuana in the board, in the boogie board case, but I mean, even now, like I was, there was a comment or some observation in America. How many people in America have been jailed just for I think possession or dealing a small amount of marijuana, and now it's in some states legal, and they're away for 10, 15 years. So at least it wasn't like a heroin or a methamphetamine. It was just marijuana, and she got copped her fair whack. Let's be serious. So all credit to it.
Okay, all right, good. I'm going to leave it there because there's plenty of avenues to go with it. I think I've got my message across, and I think you've got a good point. So. Good. Yeah,
no, that's a good one to open. It brings back some memories. I actually wanted to talk about something that I believe is the cornerstone of human society, especially in this day and age. I wanted to talk about manners, and more specifically because I've noticed as we've been wearing masks and we have to go out shopping and wearing masks, and you can't really see who's smiling and people are so tense when you're shopping that no one's really smiling with their eyes. And, if I let someone walk through, I don't really get a wave or anything like that. And look, I get that in these pandemic times, but I have a real bugbear. There are so many cars on the road and there's a lot of narrow streets where I live. I'm a big fan of the wave if someone lets me in or if I let that person in, because sometimes you're stopping 200-300 meters to allow a car to pass through. If they don't at least just lift a finger off that steering wheel, I'm sorry, but something boils in me that really sets me off. I just please wave, and I think that's the cornerstone. We will get through the next decade if we just improve that behaviour. We will become a more evolved society. Are you a waver?
Mate, absolutely. And I got to tell you, yeah, I got to tell you, I am so on board with this, and I can feel your blood boiling when you talk about it because I get that feeling as well. And look, on the flip side of that, where I live is a bit more, There's it's a bit more country-ish. You come out here quite a bit as well. You know the area, so there's a lot of dirt roads, a lot of sort of open roads, so to speak. So there's plenty of the raising 2 or 3 fingers off the wheel. So, mate,
Beautiful.
Asking for 1 finger in sort of more inner city areas, I think that's that's not too much to ask. And it is certainly, as far as I'm concerned, a very Australian thing to do, Matt, and it's a very respectful thing to do.
You'd be surprised from my experience. The quotas aren't there. My daughter, she waves for me.
Yeah.
If I have to concentrate on other things, or sometimes a car will get the double wave from me and my daughter. That's how much we commit to it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, especially with Dan Andrews in Victoria, if we can implement compulsory masks, social distancing, temperature checks when I go into Chemist Warehouse. If that can be mandated, I would prefer, and I want Dan Andrews to mandate waving if someone lets you in, or if you let someone in the street.
I love this.
I mean, yeah. And you talk about we've had a second wave of COVID. I want the third wave to be a wave.
I love everything about this. In fact, I want to know where we can get this started and get some traction with it, Matt. I love it.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Why can't it be a rule? Why can't it be set in place? And I guess
so many people don't do it, and they're like, do they just assume I'm idle on the side of the road when they pass me?
Maybe. Can I ask your reaction when they don't?
Oh, well, they probably don't.
A glare? Is it a glare?
I have flipped the bird a few times if I knew they were still in my peripherals.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just come on, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
A bang on the steering wheel. But there's nothing better than the simultaneous wave. When you both synchronize it.
Isn't it a great moment?
And when you synchronize the same wave.
Yeah.
Man.
It really does put a smile on your face and makes your day, doesn't it? I love this. Yeah.
Yeah. This is how we can be better in 2020.
Yeah. Good. Love it.
Yeah.
I've got something that I'd also think would make us better as a community and as a people. Look, and I don't want to sound too negative tonight. I hope I don't. By the end of this episode, I hope you don't feel like I've brought a negative energy, Matt. But this one gets me. And I'm just going to put it out there. When you are emailing, posting something on social media, or sending a text message, for example, you've got the opportunity to proofread. And usually it's a very short read. You're not proofreading a novel. It's a pretty straightforward read. There's a lot of there's a lot of errors in general, like something as simple as spelling or missing out on some punctuation or something, and that's fine. Well, it's not fine. That bugs me. But the thing that I wanted to get to with all this, then and than are 2 completely different words, Matt. Yeah,
right.
I would suggest that a lot of our listeners would know somebody who can always gets them wrong. And I've got a couple of people I get regular emails from or text messages from who do it all the time. And it really, really gets to me. So instead of saying than, T-H-A-N, they will say then, T-H-E-N. And I just don't know. I don't understand it. They're 2 completely separate words. If I read it once in a text or an email, I'll go, okay, yeah, it's probably a typo, whatever. But when it's regular, I can't handle it. I really struggle with it.
Does it bug you most in the work environment?
Everything. It doesn't matter if it's work or if it's a friend messaging me about the footy or something. I just struggle with it. And on top of that, what I was alluding to off the top was the fact that any of these sort of things that you're publishing on your, it might be on your phone or your computer or something, and you've got the opportunity to proofread it before you send it. I don't understand why you go through social media and there are so many major spelling errors or grammar errors or just, and the then and then thing is the one that really, really gets to me.
Okay, well, that's interesting. that's a specific one, and I get that. There doesn't seem to be an autocorrect or spelling Grammarly type function on social like there would be on email or Word. But I do agree. Like if you see a celebrity or an athlete or someone who's got a high profile and they make a grammatical or spelling error, it does make them look really silly. And I think we need to take more pride in our language, because I think we dispose of it and we use it in a really crass way these days. And I think that art form, I'm surprised that people have even studied English in high school. It's what I don't understand, especially in the professional environment, is they should treat every email or every document or that they do like they're being assessed. Like why does that end? And why butcher? I mean, in Japan, you're not going to be seeing that, are you? With the symbols and the hieroglyphics, you're not going to be seeing any butchering of that.
Oh no!
And that's an art form, you know. But yeah, we really do toast our language, and I think in particular in Australia.
Yeah. So are you sort of saying it's just a lack of respect to our own language and
absolutely.
Yeah. Wow, that's an interesting take.
Well, everyone's talking, aren't they? Everyone's got an opinion, but they, if the written word, like that ancient art form, it's. I mean, Bill Shakespeare would be rolling in his grave with the sort of tripe that just
Yeah.
I look, as someone who is a passionate a fan of literature, and I write myself in my free time when I can. I mean, now that sounds wanky, but I love to write.
Okay.
But I do really good email.
Good.
I am a master of email.
At what point, and this is, I'll finish my section here with the question too, is at what point and how would you approach, at what point is it okay for us to start correcting people in the workplace on email, or, we'll use that as an example, in the workplace? Can you do that? Is it worth doing that, or are these people not going to ever really change?
It depends. If you're a manager of people, I think you're well within your rights to just send out a memo, like an all-staff, all-team email.
Get your shit
just
together.
General, don't signal. Don't call anyone out. Don't want to call a Debbie or Dave out in the office for that grammar. But I think it's worth it, an all-staff email just to say, hey, we have standards on internal comms and external comms. Let's just do the basics, please.
I like that. And just finally, it's then and then are two separate words. Sorted out.
Well, then that then leads me to
think about it. No.
Yeah, I do want to change the pace a little bit, and one would say the rhythm. This is something that it's a sensitive topic, but it's something that I've wanted to actually try and reconcile with you, much like the Rove situation. But it's a bit more complex.
Okay.
Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Now we all know we saw the Leaving Neverland documentary last year, and absolutely terrible and shocking. But as a kid that grew up with his music and as an artist who influenced so many other artists. I mean, this, we're talking about the king of pop. It does seem, and look, probably fair enough that his legacy seems to have almost faded away into the abyss. Now, I don't really hear him on the radio, but I also at the point where I feel sometimes guilty even listening to his songs. And what's quite confusing for me in this day and age, right? Yeah. Imagine right now, in the year we've had, his music of Heal the World, Black and White, like such uniting songs globally. Yet then he was such a contradiction in his private life. And obviously, there were many secrets, and it's not really my business, but from the stories we've heard, it seems like such a contradiction.
Yeah.
That almost explains the craziness of the world right now. It's just, the world is a contradiction in what we set out and our intentions, but then what actually happens. and it's more like instead of the heal the world, and it's more bad, really, really bad, and like it's more around that part.
Yeah.
And I just, oh man, I just, it's such a shame. Because these things were rumored for many years.
Yeah.
But it seems that documentary was the real straw that broke the camel's back, and fair enough. But as a child and now as an adult, just, it's confusing, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's one of those discussions where you ask the question, or whether you can separate the artistry and the music from the story and the what we saw in the documentaries and that sort of thing. And that's a really tricky one. And much like yourself, I've found myself, flicking through Spotify or whatever it may be, and sort of thinking, this is a great track. Is it weird to play it now? Like, am I doing the wrong thing by sort of saying, hey kids, check out this song. It's a banger from the 80s. And, it's, I don't know. It does make you think twice about it, which is sad, which is very sad.
Yeah.
But the story of what we're led to believe and what seemingly is fairly accurate in especially that's been well documented, is a horrific story and something that's it was very hard to watch. That documentary from memory, I remember it, and it was disturbing, really disturbing. And it changed everything for me and my fond memories of enjoying Michael Jackson's music. Yeah.
But his music it's that good that it's hard to it's hard not to play it sometimes,
Oh, yeah, no, and I'm with you, and I don't think, it's that separation between the art and the personal stuff. And
yeah, but then Luke, you go, I like to dance. Like, you start dancing and you start just, doing those moves, and something's holding me back now. I'm not as free flowing as I used to be, and I want that. I want to be unleashed again. Maybe it's a different artist. I'm not sure.
I don't know, and I don't know what's the answer in terms of feeling okay about dancing. And you're right, mate. I've seen you dance up some storms on some dance floors, Matt, and it's a spectacle. And I don't want to see that taken away because of a backstory. But yeah, look, I don't know.
This is it. I feel I'm going to have to bury that part of my life. But if you think about Usher and Chris Brown and Cisco, or maybe not Cisco, but other artists that were so influenced by him. I mean, Timberlake even? Like, who is going to be that next artist that can inspire another generation? I mean, that's the influence he had. But Heal the World and, all that, the Free Willy, give me a break.
What about
he was a creep. He was a creep.
Absolutely, yeah. What about the idea of those songs being cover-ups, or being I'll make sure I release a couple of these to give myself a bit of looking good, and I want the best for the world. Where
exactly. So you lose a bit of that faith in humanity when the guy that was uniting the world, it doesn't matter if you're black and white. That it's almost like the collapse of his legacy has led to this racial divide in America and therefore this around the world. It's like this, I mean, that's an extreme connection, but look at the sequence of events.
Yeah, I look at I often think about the other artists and producers that were involved in some of these history making records and songs.
History, Michael Jackson history again.
You can't help it.
Any word that you say is a song.
I know. It's that was one. Reached number 4 on the European charts, I believe. But yeah, like everyone involved in that, what are they? I mean, there's obviously a fair bit of talk around them having some sort of idea about what sort of person he was or what sort of monster he was in some capacity. But like, does that all just disappear now? Does this history sort of just disappear into thin air and we move on? I don't know. It can't really. The art is there and it's incredible, but I don't know. I don't know.
But the way it makes me feel, I would say that it just shows me how complex people are, and obviously whatever happened in his childhood, he was clearly a musical genius, but for me, there's behaviours that do actually undo a legacy. I think that's we've learnt that. So it's a shame, but maybe one day I'll listen to it again with a pure heart. But right now,
okay,
this is it, Michael.
Okay, that's all right. That's fair enough. Well, mate, it's 30-ish. We've got there. It's been an interesting one tonight. I've enjoyed it. There's there's a lot to unpack there when we finish this and we sit down and have a scotch on the rocks and contemplate what it was all about this episode.
Yeah. I think it's been quite micro, but then quite macro. So you've got that balance. And I don't know what drink I'll have after this. Maybe a slippery nipple or something like that. And I'll think about tonight. But let's get behind the wave, the car wave. Let's let people in, and you be let in, and you wave.
You wave.
Just one finger.
Thank you very much. Hey, everyone out there, thanks for listening, and make sure you join in. And if there's anything you want discussed, let us know. Get into Instagram, the humans_podcast, and drop us a message. I guess I'm happy to unpack some questions from people out there. Matt, are you?
Oh, let's open up a dialogue. Let's get some feedback.
Yeah. All right. Good. Let's do that. Thanks everyone for listening, and stay tuned for more.
Stay human.